The millionaire is surprised to discover that a black beggar fixed his car during the storm. Okay, picture this. Jack Sterling, Mr. Willow Creek himself. Soup probably cost more than your rent, right? He's cruising back from some fancy downtown meeting. Rain's coming down in buckets. Visibility 0. Then, bam. His F-150, the one he babies, just dies. Dead as a doornail on Maple Drive. That nowhere stretch nobody ever uses. Jack's freaking. Cell's got no signal. And this ain't the kind of place you want to be stranded. Especially not looking like he just stepped out of a magazine. He's used to problems getting solved. With a snap of his fingers, you know? Then, out of nowhere, this guy appears. Denny. Black dude, clothes soaked, face like he's seen a million hard days. Looks homeless, straight up. Need a hand, friend? Denny asks, voice raspy like gravel. Jack's thinking, yeah, right. This guy's gonna steal my hubcaps. But he's desperate, right? Denny takes one look under the hood, starts fiddling with stuff. Jack's watching, jaw practically on the ground. This Denny knows his stuff. I'm talking serious car whisperer skills. 10 minutes later, the engine roars to life. Jack's stunned. He pulls out his wallet, peels off a wad of cash. Here, this is for you. Denny actually flinches, like the money burns him. Takes it, but looks uncomfortable, like he'd rather have been kicked in the teeth. Jack peels out, relieved, but something's bugging him. A few days later, he's at the garage, and the mechanic says, "Hey, your catalytic converter's gone." Jack remembers Denny saying something about needing parts. Just paranoia, he thinks. But then, an anonymous email pops up. Denny, chop shop, ask around. Now Jack's sweating. He drives back to that forgotten stretch of Maple Drive. Finds Denny, not begging. He's fixing bikes for a bunch of kids. Laughing, smiling. Totally. Doesn't fit the car thief image. But then a sleek black sedan pulls up. Denny's talking to the driver, hushed, exchanging a thick envelope. Driver speeds off. Denny turns, catches Jack's eye. Recognition. Then, something else. Unreadable. He walks towards Jack, half smile playing on his lips. "Fancy seeing you here, Mr. Sterling," he says, voice low. "Looks like you found my little workshop. Anything I can help you with?" Rain starts again, cold and heavy. The truth hangs there, thick as the storm clouds. Is Denny just a small-time crook? Or is he tangled up in something way bigger than a chop shop? Ei, antes de continuarmos com essa história incrível, preciso te fazer um alerta importante. Muitos inscritos têm relatado que o YouTube removeu suas inscrições sem aviso. Dá só uma conferida rápida no botão vermelho aí embaixo para garantir que você ainda está inscrito no canal. Não quero que você perca nenhum conteúdo exclusivo que vem por aí. E já que você tá aí, deixa aquele like poderoso que me ajuda muito com o algoritmo. Ah, e me conta nos comentários de qual cidade você está assistindo. Adoro conhecer cada pessoa incrível que faz parte de uma comunidade. Sua participação faz toda a diferença. Vamos interagir. Denny turns, catches Jack's eye. Recognition. Then something else. Unreadable. He walks towards Jack, half smile playing on his lips. "Fancy seeing you here, Mr. Sterling," he says, voice low. "Looks like you found my little workshop. Anything I can help you with?" Rain starts again, cold and heavy. The truth hangs there, thick as the storm clouds. Is Denny just a small-time crook? Or is he tangled up in something way bigger than a chop shop? Jack swallowed hard. Something. I wanted to ask you about the catalytic converter." Denny's smile vanished, gone, replaced by nothing. Just a flat, Hard stare. What about it? The mechanic said it's gone. And that email about a chop shop. Jack trailed off, feeling foolish. He was Jack Sterling, damn it. He shouldn't be intimidated by a... Denny sighed, a long, drawn-out sound. He looked past Jack, out at the gray sky. Look, Mr. Sterling, you're a smart guy. You put things together. You saw the envelope. You heard the rumors. What do you think? Jack felt a cold dread creep up his spine. I think you're mixed up in something. Something? Denny chuckled. A short, bitter sound. That's one way to put it. He stepped closer, rain beating on his dark skin. Let me tell you something, Mr. Sterling. This town, Willow Creek, it's got secrets. Big ones. Secrets that people like you don't even know exist. Suddenly, a car screeches to a halt down the road. Not just any car. It's a black SUV, tinted windows, the kind that scream government. Two men in dark suits get out, faces grim. They move with a purpose that sends a jolt of fear through Jack. They're headed straight for them. Denny, one of them barks, voice sharp and commanding. Denny doesn't even flinch. He just looks at Jack, and his eyes, they're pleading. Mr. Sterling, whatever you think you know, whatever you think you saw, forget it. Walk away. Go back to your fancy house, your fancy life, and pretend you never met me. The men are almost upon them. Jack's paralyzed, caught between fear and a burning curiosity. Then, the impossible happens. One of the men, the one who spoke, reaches into his jacket. But instead of a gun, he pulls out a badge. A shiny silver badge. He flashes it at Jack. Agent Miller, FBI, he says, voice cold and official. We're taking Mr. Denny into custody. We suggest you cooperate and answer our questions. Custody? FBI? What the hell is going on? Agent Miller turns to Denny, and for the first time, Jack sees a flicker of fear in Denny's eyes. Real fear. Denny, you know the drill, Miller says. Don't make this harder than it has to be. Denny nods, slowly. Then he does something that shocks Jack to the core. He looks right at Jack and whispers, just loud enough for him to hear, "Tell my daughter, tell Lily that I tried." And then, before Jack can even process what he's hearing, Agent Miller grabs Denny by the arm and they shove him into the back of the SUV. The other agent opens the door, pauses, looks at Jack with an expression that could curdle milk, and says, "You didn't see anything." The SUV speeds away, disappearing around the bend. Jack stands there, soaked to the bone, the rain washing over him. Denny, FBI, a daughter named Lily. What in God's name is going on? He pulls out his phone, his hands shaking. He needs to call someone. Anyone. But who? Who can he trust? Then he remembers something. Denny's last words. Tell my daughter. Tell Lily. He types Lily Denny Willow Creek into Google. The first result. A news article. A missing persons case. Lily Denny, age 16, disappeared without a trace 6 months ago. The article includes a picture. A beautiful girl with bright, hopeful eyes. Jack stares at the picture, and a wave of nausea washes over him. What if Denny isn't a criminal? What if he's just a desperate father trying to find his missing daughter? And what if, in trying to help him, Jack just stumbled into something far more dangerous than he could ever imagine? He types Lily Denny Willow Creek into Google. The first result, a news article. A missing persons case. Lily Denny, age 16, disappeared without a trace 6 months ago. The article includes a picture. A beautiful girl with bright, hopeful eyes. Jack stares at the picture, and a wave of nausea washes over him. What if Denny isn't a criminal? What if he's just a desperate father trying to find his missing daughter? And what if, in trying to help him, Jack just stumbled into something far more dangerous than he could ever imagine? He had to find Lily. The article mentioned Sarah Jenkins, a local reporter who'd been covering the case. Jack dialed her number, hands still shaking. "Miss Jenkins? This is Jack Sterling. I think I might have information about Lily Denny." He could hear the hesitation in her voice. "Mr. Sterling, with all due respect, the police have been through everything. Every lead, every rumor." "This is different," Jack insisted. "I know Denny. He fixed my car. He mentioned Louis. And the FBI took him away just now. I think he's involved in something big." Sarah was silent for a moment. Then, "Meet me at the Willow Creek diner. 30 minutes. The diner was almost empty. Sarah was a sharp-looking woman, probably mid-30s, with a no-nonsense air about her. "Okay, Mr. Sterling, lay it on me," she said, her eyes focused. Jack told her everything. The stalled truck, Denny's unexpected help, the wad of cash, the anonymous email, the meeting with the mysterious driver, the FBI. Everything. Sarah listened intently, her face growing paler with each detail. When he finished, she let out a long breath. "This is insane," she said. "The FBI's involved? This is way bigger than I thought." "What do you mean?" Jack asked, feeling a knot of dread tighten in his stomach. Sarah leaned in, her voice low. "The official story is that Lily ran away. Troubled teen, blah, blah, blah. But I never bought it. Something felt off." "The cops weren't really looking, like they were told to back off." "Told to back off by who?" Sarah hesitated. "There are rumors, whispers, about some powerful people in this town. People who don't want certain things to be uncovered. People who can make problems disappear." Just then, Sarah's phone rang. She glanced at the screen, and her eyes widened. She answered, listened intently for a few seconds, then hung up, her face ashen. "That was a source," she whispered, her voice trembling. "They found Lily." Jack felt his heart stop. "Found her? Is she—" Sarah shook her head, tears welling up in her eyes. "They found her in the old Sterling family warehouse down by the river. Dead." Jack felt the world tilt. His warehouse? His family? "But that's not the worst part," Sarah continued, her voice barely a whisper. They said she was wearing one of your wife's dresses. The blue silk one she wore to the charity gala last year." Jack's mind went blank. A scream built in his throat, but no sound came out. His wife, but it couldn't be. He saw his life flash before his eyes, the picture-perfect family, the successful career, the gleaming Willow Creek mansion. Then a terrible realization dawned. His wife, Emily, had been acting strangely lately, distant, secretive. He'd chalked it up to stress, but now he remembered the late nights, the hushed phone calls, the inexplicable trips out of town. Suddenly, Jack realized something else. The charity gala, the blue silk dress. Emily had been gone for hours that night. Said she had a headache, needed some air. He stared at Sarah, his face contorted in a mask of horror. "My wife," he choked out. "My wife was there, wasn't she?" Sarah didn't answer. Her silence was confirmation enough. A wave of nausea washed over him, so intense he thought he might faint. He stumbled back, knocking over a chair, the sound echoing in the sudden silence of the diner. His wife, involved in Lily's death? The thought was unbearable. He had to find Emily. He had to know the truth. He turned and ran out of the diner, leaving Sarah staring after him, her face a mixture of shock and pity. As he sped towards home, rain beginning to fall again, heavier now, he knew one thing for sure: his life. The life he thought he knew was over, and whatever dark secrets Willow Creek was hiding, they were about to be revealed. As he sped towards home, rain beginning to fall again, heavier now, he knew one thing for sure: his life, the life he thought he knew, was over, and whatever dark secrets Willow Creek was hiding, they were about to be revealed. The mansion loomed ahead, a gothic monstrosity even in daylight, let alone shrouded in storm clouds. Jack screeched to a halt, tires spitting gravel. He didn't bother with the gate, just rammed straight through it. Metal screamed. He didn't care. He burst through the front door, adrenaline coursing through him. "Emily!" he roared, his voice cracking. "Emily, where are you?" Silence. The only sound was the wind howling outside, rattling the windows. He checked the living room, the dining room, the study. Empty. Then he heard it. A faint sound, coming from upstairs. A sob. He took the stairs 2 at a time, his heart pounding in his chest. He reached their bedroom, the door slightly ajar. He pushed it open and stopped dead. Emily was there, kneeling on the floor, surrounded by suitcases. She was crying, her face buried in her hands. The blue silk dress lay crumpled on the bed. "Emily?" Jack said, his voice barely a whisper. She looked up, her eyes red and swollen. "Oh, Jack! Tell me," he said, his voice trembling. "Tell me what happened. Tell me about Lily." She started to cry harder, shaking her head. I can't." "You have to!" Jack shouted, his control snapping. "They found her, Emily, in our warehouse, wearing your dress. What the hell is going on?" Emily flinched, as if he'd struck her. "It was an accident," she sobbed. "A terrible, terrible accident." "An accident?" Jack repeated, his voice dripping with disbelief. "An accident that involved wearing your gala dress and being dumped in my warehouse?" Suddenly, a voice cut through the tension. "That's enough, Emily." Jack whirled around. Standing in the doorway was Denny. But it wasn't the Denny he remembered. Not the ragged, desperate Denny from the roadside. This Denny was different. He was clean-shaven, wearing an expensive suit, and his eyes, they were cold, calculating, and he held something in his hand. A gun. "Denny?" Jack stammered, confusion washing over him. Denny smirked. "Surprised, Jack? Let's just say there's a lot you don't know about me. Or your dear wife, for that matter." He gestured with the gun. "Emily, get up. Time to go. Our flight leaves in 2 hours." Emily stood up, her face pale. She looked at Jack, tears streaming down her face. "I'm so sorry," she whispered. So sorry." "Where are you going?" Jack asked, his mind racing. "What is this?" Denny chuckled. "Let's just say we're taking a little vacation. One you won't be joining us on." He raised the gun, pointing it directly at Jack. But then something even more unbelievable happened. Emily stepped in front of Jack, shielding him with her body. "Don't!" she screamed. "Don't hurt him." Denny hesitated, his face contorted in anger. "Emily, get out of the way. You know the plan." "Can't do this anymore, Denny," Emily cried. "I can't live with the guilt." And then she reached into her own purse, pulled out a gun, and pointed it at Denny. Jack stared, his mind completely blank. His wife, holding a gun, protecting him from Denny. Nothing made sense anymore. "Emily, what are you doing?" Denny hissed, his voice trembling. "I'm stopping this," she said, her voice surprisingly steady. "It ends here." And then, before anyone could react, a deafening gunshot echoed through the mansion. But it wasn't Emily who fired. From behind Denny, another figure emerged. Sarah Jenkins, the reporter, her face grim. She held a smoking gun in her hand. Denny crumpled to the floor, dead. Emily screamed. Jack stood frozen, unable to process what he was seeing. Sarah lowered the gun, her eyes fixed on Jack. "I'm sorry, Jack," she said, her voice barely audible. "But it had to be done. He knew too much, and so do you." She took a step towards him, raising the gun again. "Wait," Jack shouted, finally finding his voice. "What are you doing? Why did you kill him?" Sarah stopped, a strange look on her face. "Because." "Jack," she said, her voice cold and hard. "He was going to tell you the truth about Lily, about Emily, and about me." She paused, her eyes gleaming with a dangerous light. "The truth, Jack, is far more twisted than you could ever imagine. And you, my dear, are right in the middle of it." Then she smiled, a chilling, predatory smile. "You see, Jack," she whispered, "Lily wasn't just wearing Emily's dress. She was wearing my face." "You see, Jack," she whispered, "Lily wasn't just wearing Emily's dress. She was wearing my face." My face? What the hell did that even mean? I stumbled back, tripping over Denny's lifeless body. Sarah, Lily, Emily. It was all swirling, a sick, twisted carnival in my head. "What are you talking about?" I managed, my voice hoarse. Sarah just smiled wider, a truly terrifying sight. She reached up, her fingers at the edge of her hairline, and then she peeled it back, like a mask. Underneath, there was another face. A younger face. A face I knew. Lily. My Lily. But that was impossible. Lily was dead. Wasn't she? "Surprise, Daddy," Lily said, her voice suddenly higher, younger. A voice of the girl who used to braid my hair and ask me to read her bedtime stories. "This can't be," Emily gasped, staring at Lily with wide, horrified eyes. "Oh, it is, darling," Lily said, turning to Emily with a saccharine sweetness that made my stomach churn. "You were such a good pawn in this little game of ours." My mind was racing. Lily wasn't dead. She was alive. And she was Sarah? She'd been pretending to be Sarah all this time? But why? "But the body," I stammered. "The body in the warehouse." Lily laughed, a high-pitched manic sound. "Oh, that? Just some girl who looked a little like me. Easy enough to find in a town like Willow Creek. And Emily, bless her heart, was so eager to help cover it up." Emily started sobbing again, collapsing onto the bed. "I didn't know, Jack. I swear, I didn't know it was Lily." "Shut up, Emily," Lily snapped. "You've outlived your usefulness." She turned back to me, her eyes filled with a cold, hard light. "You see, Daddy, you were so busy playing Mr. Big Shot, you never even noticed your little girl was gone. You were too busy with your business deals and your fancy parties to see what was really going on." "But why, Lily? Why do this?" I pleaded, my voice cracking. "Because you ruined my life," she screamed, her voice filled with rage. "You sent me away. You said I was too much trouble. You shipped me off to that stupid boarding school and never looked back." I remembered those days. Lily had been difficult, rebellious. I thought I was doing what was best for her, sending her to a good school, giving her a chance to straighten out. "I thought I was helping you, Lily," I said, my voice trembling. "Helping me? You abandoned me!" she shrieked. "And now you're going to pay!" She raised the gun, pointing it at me. "Lily, please," I begged. "Don't do this. I'm your father." "Not anymore," she said, her voice devoid of emotion. "Now, say goodbye." But before she could pull the trigger, the front door burst open, and standing there, silhouetted against the storm, was Denny. Alive. But it wasn't the Denny from the roadside, or the suited Denny from a few minutes ago either. This Denny was different. He was wearing an old, worn leather jacket and had a scar across one side of his face. He held a shotgun, and he looked absolutely furious. "Lily, what have you done?" he roared, his voice echoing through the mansion. Lily froze, her face paling. "Denny? But you're supposed to be dead." Denny ignored her, his eyes fixed on me. "Jack, get out of here! Now!" He raised the shotgun and fired. "Jack, get out of here! Now!" He raised the shotgun and fired. Chaos exploded. Lily screamed, ducking behind a fallen armchair. I didn't wait. I scrambled back, tripping over Emily, crawling towards the door. Another shot rang out, deafening. I didn't see what Denny hit. Didn't care. I just had to get out. I stumbled out into the storm. Rain blinding me. Where to go? Who to trust? Everyone I knew, everything I believed, was a lie. Then a hand grabbed my arm. I whirled around, ready to fight. It was Denny. "Come with me," he yelled over the wind. "It's not safe here." I hesitated. Could I trust him? He just tried to kill me. But Lily, she'd tried to kill me too. And Emily, she was a mess, probably in shock. I didn't know what to do. Denny pulled me, hard. "No time to argue. They're coming." "Who's coming?" I shouted. But he was already dragging me towards the back of the mansion. We ran through the rain, dodging puddles, until we reached the old stables. Denny pulled open, the creaking door, shoving me inside. It was dark and damp, smelled of horses and hay. Denny fumbled for a light, finally finding a flickering lantern. He lit it, casting long shadows across the room. "We'll be safe here for now," he said, breathing heavily. I looked around, confused. Safe from who? "What's going on, Denny? What is any of this?" He sighed, running a hand through his wet hair. "It's a long story, Jack. A story that started a long time ago." He paused, his eyes filled with a sadness I'd never seen before. "Lily, she's not really your daughter." The words hit me like a physical blow. "What? What are you talking about? Of course she is. I was there when she was born." Denny shook his head. "Emily, she couldn't have children. You never knew, did you? She was desperate to give you a family, so she made a deal." "A deal with who?" I asked, my voice trembling. "With my mother," Denny said, his voice low. "My mother? She was a powerful woman, Jack. A very powerful woman. She ran things in Willow Creek. Things you wouldn't even believe." He took a deep breath. "Lily, she's my sister. Emily paid my mother to take Lily as a baby, to give her to you, to make you happy." I stared at him, my mind reeling. Emily, Lily, Denny's mother, it was all too much, too crazy. "But why would Lily try to kill me?" I stammered. "Because she found out the truth," Denny said. "About her real mother, about Emily, about everything. And she blamed you. She blamed everyone." He paused, his eyes narrowing. "But that's not the whole story, Jack. There's something else. Something even bigger. Something I just found out myself." He stepped closer, his voice barely a whisper. "My mother. She didn't just run things in Willow Creek. She was involved in something dark, something illegal. And Lily, she was involved too." Suddenly, the stable door burst open. Standing there, silhouetted against the rain, was Emily. But she wasn't alone. Behind her, a figure emerged. A tall, imposing man in a dark suit. A man I recognized. Agent Miller. The FBI agent who'd taken Denny into custody. "Hello, Jack," Miller said, his voice cold and hard. "It's time for you to come with us." But something was wrong. Miller wasn't looking at me. He was looking at Denny. And then Miller spoke. "Hello, son," he said. his voice filled with something that sounded almost like pride. Denny stared at him, his face draining of color. Dad? He whispered. Gad, ele sussurrou. O mundo parou. Pai? Como assim, pai? Eu olhei de Miller para Denny, tentando entender. Miller, um agente do FBI? Pai do Denny? Aquele Denny, o cara da beira da estrada, o mecânico, o criminoso? Nada fazia sentido. Denny, Miller disse, dando um passo à frente. Você não precisava se envolver nisso. Eu estava cuidando de tudo. Cuidando de tudo? Denny gritou. Você estava cobertando, deixando aquela vadia da Lily se safar. Lily riu, um som estridente e louco. Sempre tão dramático. Irmãozinho, você puxou isso da mamãe, não é? Irmão? Lily e Danny eram irmãos? Meu cérebro estava fritando. Irmãos? Filhos de uma chefona do crime? Um agente do FBI no meio? Emily sabia de tudo isso? Eu não sabia. Emily choramingou. Eu juro que não sabia que eles eram irmãos. Sua mãe só disse que Lily precisava de uma nova família. Eu só queria te fazer feliz, Jack. Eu não conseguia respirar. Minha vida era uma mentira. Uma teia de segredos e traições que eu nem imaginava. Mas ainda tinha algo faltando. Por que Lily queria me matar? Por que Lily? Por que tudo? Isso, e eu consegui perguntar. Por que você é fraco, papai? Sempre foi. Deixou minha avó controlar tudo. A cidade, a polícia, a mim. Eu ia mostrar pra todo mundo quem manda agora. Miller suspirou cansado. Já chega, Lily. Acabou. Não acabou até eu acabar com ele. Lily gritou apontando a arma para mim. Mas antes que ela pudesse atirar, ouvi um som. Um clique. Olhei para o lado. Emily. Ela segurava a arma que havia tirado da bolsa antes, apontando para Lily. Te contado a verdade há muito tempo. Mas eu tinha medo. Tinha medo de te perder. Ela respirou fundo e fechou os olhos. Eu te amo, Jack. Sempre amei. E então ela puxou o gatilho. Mas não foi a arma dela que disparou. Um tiro veio de trás de nós. Virei. Danny. Ele havia se levantado e atirado em Miller com uma espingarda. Miller cambaleou para trás, caindo no chão. Pai! Lily gritou, horrorizada. Danny respirava com dificuldade, o rosto contorcido em agonia. Eu tinha que fazer isso, ele disse. Ele ia deixar você se safar, Lily, como sempre fez. Lily correu até Miller, ajoelhando-se ao lado dele. Pai, não, fica comigo. Mas era tarde demais. Miller estava morto. E então, Lily fez algo que eu nunca esperaria. Ela olhou para mim, seus olhos cheios de ódio, mas também de tristeza. Você venceu, papai, ela disse. Mas você perdeu tudo no processo. E antes que alguém pudesse impedi-la, ela virou a arma para si mesma e puxou o gatilho. Lily olhou para o corpo do pai, horrorizada. Depois virou-se para mim, o rosto crispado em ódio. Olha só o que você fez, ela gritou. Você destruiu a minha família. Eu não conseguia me mover. Estava paralisado, assistindo ao desmoronamento da minha vida. Emily chorava baixinho, encolhida num canto. Danny estava ali, no meio do caos, com uma espingarda na mão e um olhar perdido no rosto. Eu não queria que isso acontecesse, ele disse, a voz embargada. Eu só queria protegê-la, Jack. Proteger Lee depois de tudo que ela fez? De repente as luzes se apagaram. A escuridão engoliu o estábulo, intensificada pela tempestade lá fora. Ouvimos gritos, passos apressados, o som de algo quebrando. O que está acontecendo? Emily murmurou, a voz trêmula. Antes que alguém pudesse responder, uma voz surgiu das trevas. Uma voz familiar, mas distorcida, quase irreconhecível. Surpresa, surpresa, a voz disse, com um tom sombrio e teatral. Parece que a festa ainda não acabou. Uma lanterna acendeu, revelando um rosto. Um rosto que eu jamais esperaria ver ali. Um rosto que eu acreditava estar morto. Era minha mãe. Ela estava lá, parada na porta do estábulo, iluminada pela luz da lanterna. Seu rosto estava pálido e enrugado, mas seus olhos brilhavam com uma intensidade perturbadora. Ela segurava uma arma na mão, apontada diretamente para nós. Mãe, o quê? Como? Eu gaguejei sem conseguir acreditar no que via. Ah, Jack, ela disse, com desprezo. Sempre tão ingênuo. Achou mesmo que eu ia deixar vocês acabarem com tudo o que eu construí? Danny arregalou os olhos. Você? Você estava por trás de tudo isso? Minha mãe sorriu, um sorriso frio e cruel. Sempre estive, meu querido. Vocês todos são apenas peças no meu jogo. E agora chegou a hora de dar o checkmate. Mas o que você quer? Por que está fazendo isso? Eu perguntei, o medo me paralisando. Eu quero o poder, Jack. Ela respondeu, a voz gélida. O poder que seu pai me roubou. O poder que você nunca teve coragem de reivindicar. Ela respirou fundo e apertou o gatilho. A bala voou em minha direção, rápida e certeira. Eu fechei os olhos, esperando o impacto. Mas ele nunca veio. Quando abri os olhos, vi Danny parado na minha frente. Ele havia se jogado na frente da bala, protegendo-me com o próprio corpo. Danny cambaleou, as mãos pressionadas contra o peito. O sangue jorrava entre seus dedos. Danny! Lily gritou, correndo em direção a ele. Danny sorriu fracamente, os olhos fixos em mim. Eu disse que ia te proteger, Jack, ele murmurou. Mesmo que fosse de mim mesmo. E então ele caiu, morto. Lily gritou, um grito de dor e desespero que ecoou pelo estábulo. Ela se jogou sobre o corpo de Danny, chorando convulsivamente. Minha mãe apenas sorriu. Que cena patética, ela disse, a voz fria. Mas chega de sentimentalismo. Está na hora de acabar com isso de uma vez por todas. Ela apontou a arma para mim novamente. Mas de repente, Emily se levantou. Ela estava tremendo, mas havia uma determinação em seus olhos que eu nunca tinha visto antes. Já chega, ela gritou, a voz surpreendentemente forte. Eu não vou mais permitir que você faça isso. Minha mãe riu. O que você vai fazer, Emily? Me impedir com suas lágrimas. Emily respirou fundo. Eu posso não ser forte como você, ela disse. Mas eu tenho uma coisa que você nunca terá. E o que seria, minha mãe zombou? Emily sorriu. Um sorriso triste, mas determinado. Eu tenho amor, ela respondeu. E então ela pegou a lanterna e a jogou no chão. O querosene se espalhou rapidamente, incendiando a palha seca. O fogo se alastrou, consumindo o estábulo em chamas. Minha mãe gritou, horrorizada. Não! O que você fez? Emily me pegou pela mão. Vamos, Jack, ela disse. Precisamos sair daqui. Nós corremos para fora do estábulo, deixando minha mãe presa nas chamas. Enquanto corríamos para longe, ouvi seus gritos agonizantes. Quando chegamos em segurança, longe do fogo, nos viramos para olhar para trás. O estábulo estava em chamas, as chamas lambendo o céu noturno. Era o fim de tudo, o fim da minha família, o fim da minha vida, como eu a conhecia. Lily estava ajoelhada perto do corpo de Danny, gritando e chorando. Emily me abraçou apertado. E então ouvi um som que me arrepiou até a alma. Uma risada alta e estridente, vinda de dentro do estábulo em chamas. A risada da minha mãe. Mas algo estava errado. A risada não vinha de dentro do celeiro. Era como se a risada viesse de dentro de mim. Eu senti algo se contorcendo no meu peito, subindo pela minha garganta. E então eu também comecei a rir. Eu ri e ri e ri. Uma risada louca e histérica que ecoava na tempestade. Eu ria enquanto via o estábulo queimar, enquanto Lily chorava, enquanto Emily me abraçava. Eu ria porque finalmente havia entendido. Eu era minha mãe. Sempre fui. Eu ria e ria e ria. uma risada louca e histérica que ecoava na tempestade. Eu ria enquanto via o estábulo queimar, enquanto Lily chorava, enquanto Emily me abraçava. Eu ria porque finalmente havia entendido. Eu era minha mãe. Sempre fui. Emily me apertava, tentando me acalmar, mas era inútil. A risada não parava. Vinha de dentro, como se um monstro tivesse despertado em mim. Jack, o que está acontecendo? Para com isso! Emily implorava, o rosto banhado em lágrimas. Mas eu não conseguia parar. Era como se minha mente tivesse se desligado e outro ser estivesse no controle. Lily continuava gritando, agarrada ao corpo de Danny. A tempestade soprava forte, a chuva chicoteando nossos rostos. O fogo consumiu o estábulo, iluminando a cena macabra. De repente, a risada parou. Senti um vazio, um silêncio ensurdecedor em minha mente. Olhei para Emily, para Lily, para o fogo. Nada fazia sentido. Eu não entendo, murmurei, a voz fraca. Emily me abraçou mais forte. Está tudo bem, Jack. Acabou. Vamos embora daqui. Mas não tinha acabado. Eu sabia que não tinha. De repente, senti uma dor lancinante na cabeça. Uma dor tão forte que me fez cair de joelhos. Imagens começaram a passar pela minha mente, rápidas e confusas. Lembranças, mas não minhas. Lembranças de uma mulher. Uma mulher fria, calculista, ambiciosa. E uma mulher que faria qualquer coisa para conseguir o que queria. Minha mãe. Mas as lembranças não eram só dela. Eram minhas. Eu era ela. Eu sempre fui. Eu vi a manipulação, as mentiras, as traições. Vi o planejamento, a execução, o controle. Vi a cidade sendo dominada, as vidas sendo destruídas, o poder sendo conquistado. Vi tudo. A dor aumentava, a cada lembrança, a cada segredo revelado. Eu gritava, tentando me livrar daquelas imagens, daquela voz, daquela mente. Mas era inútil. Ela estava lá, dentro de mim, me controlando. De repente, a dor parou. E eu soube o que tinha que fazer. Me levantei, lentamente. Olhei para Emily, para Lily. Senti pena delas. E ódio. Sinto muito, sussurrei. A voz fria e distante. Emily me olhou, assustada. Jack, o que você vai fazer? Eu não respondi. Me virei e comecei a caminhar, em direção ao fogo. Jack, onde você vai? Emily gritou, correndo atrás de mim. Eu parei, me virei e olhei para ela. Eu tenho negócios a terminar, eu disse, um sorriso cruel no rosto. E então puxei a arma. Não é a minha. Era de Danny. Eu a havia pegado quando ele caiu. Emily arregalou os olhos, o terror estampado em seu rosto. Não, Jack. Por favor. Não. Eu ignorei seus apelos. Levantei a arma, mirei em sua cabeça e puxei o gatilho. Um tiro. Emily caiu no chão, sem vida. Lily gritou, um grito de horror e desespero. Eu me virei para ela. Ela me encarava, os olhos cheios de ódio. Você é um monstro! Ela gritou. Eu sorri. Eu sei, respondi. E então comecei a caminhar, em direção à escuridão, em direção ao futuro, em direção ao poder. Porque agora eu sabia, eu era a chefe, e ninguém iria me impedir. Eu estava no comando, finalmente. Mas, a que custo? Lily chorava agarrada a Danny. Emily. Bem, Emily não importava mais. A chuva lavava o sangue. O fogo consumia o passado. Mas o futuro era meu. Saí andando. Simples assim. Deixei Lily com seus mortos, com sua dor. Willow Creek me esperava. A cidade era minha, e eu ia reconstruí-la à minha imagem e semelhança. Dias se passaram. A poeira baixou. A fumaça se dissipou. A polícia investigou. Fez perguntas. Eu sorri, neguei, manipulei. A culpa? Que culpa? Aquelas eram apenas peças no meu tabuleiro. Reuni os capangas da minha mãe, os que restaram. Leais, obedientes. Aos poucos, retomei o controle. o cassino, os negócios sujos. A influência, tudo voltava para mim. Mais forte, mais cruel. Uma noite, estava no escritório da minha mãe, a vista para Willow Creek, iluminada pelas luzes da cidade. Um uísque na mão e um sorriso no rosto. Alguém bateu na porta. Era Lily. Os olhos vermelhos, o rosto marcado pela dor. Ela estava um caco, mas havia algo diferente nela. Algo determinado. "O que você quer?" perguntei, a voz gélida. Ela não respondeu. Apenas sacou uma arma. Apontou para mim. "Eu vou acabar com isso", ela disse, a voz embargada. Eu ri. "Você? Acabar comigo? Você não tem coragem." Ela hesitou. Vi a dúvida em seus olhos, a dor, o medo. Mas então ela sorriu. "Talvez não", ela disse, "mas ele tem." E então olhei para a porta. E lá estava ele, Danny, vivo. Ele sorria. E atrás dele, dezenas de homens. Policiais, agentes do FBI. Todos armados. Era uma armadilha. Lily me enganou. "Eu sempre soube que você era como ela", Lily disse, o ódio brilhando em seus olhos. "E eu sempre soube que um dia teria que te parar." Eu tentei atirar, mas era tarde demais. As armas dispararam e a escuridão me engoliu. Mas será que acabou mesmo? Será que a morte é o fim? Ou apenas o começo de um novo jogo? Porque no espelho, no reflexo do meu rosto, vejo o rosto dela. Aquele sorriso frio, aquele olhar calculista. Afinal, o mal nunca morre, apenas se transforma. Ele voltou. Você precisa saber o que aconteceu depois. Inscreva-se imediatamente no canal para não perder as próximas histórias exclusivas. Esmague o botão de like agora para alimentar o algoritmo. Inunde a seção de comentários com suas reações e teorias sobre o final. Compartilhe instantaneamente este vídeo com pelo menos 5 amigos que precisam conhecer este desfecho. Este é o momento para demonstrar seu apoio. Não espere nem mais um segundo para compartilhar. Apenas os verdadeiros fãs compreendem a importância de apoiar o canal com estas ações. Vamos lá!